After a wild race at Charlotte Motor Speedway last week to kick off 2024 for the ARCA Series, where we saw a big one and a flip at Charlotte of all places. It was Nicholas Samuel Mystery came in number 3 of the season, but only his third top 5 of the season as well. Can he get my number 4 here tonight? Have to wait and see as this points battle is getting interesting with only 5 races to go in the Amsoil ARCA Series. It is Devil's Bowl Speedway and it is still track racing for the second time of season number 1. What's up everyone, it's Glenn Space 97 aka Nathan Stapleton and we are back at Devil's Bowl for the second night in a row. Last night we saw the Amsoil ARCA Series Driver put on a show and a little bit of a preview going into tonight for the winners 200. And I think we are in for a treat here tonight, as this race track is pretty good. If last night was any indication, and if the season has been any indication, we could be in for yet another banger of a race. I'm not alone for this one. Once again, I'm joined by Alex up here in the booth, and welcome back to Devil's Bowl.
Yeah, we had so much fun last night. Decided to do it twice. Gonna be intriguing to see how this one plays out though, with 8 more cars on the racetrack. And we had some moments, had some close calls last night, but no cautions. May see a couple of yellows here tonight though at the Devil's Bowl Speedway in the main ARCA Series.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be interesting if what will happen with having 8 more cars versus 16 after the close calls that we had. Of course, last time out, we saw Mr. H, the little guy, Mr. H Nicholas saying, get my number 3. He's literally doing all or nothing. Um, but Sam Dio, he does not really start up front in this one. He starts in the back. So we saw Juan Garcia last night move his way up to the front. I don't know about Sam Dio being number 4 here tonight with 24 cars, but if anyone can do it, it is Sam Dio. What do you think we will see with 24 cars instead of 16?
Well, as I mentioned, I think we might actually see a couple more cautions or a couple of cautions tonight. But with that being said, though, it's going to be a little bit harder to move your way from the back to the front. We saw Juan Garcia last night move up to 7th from the 16th starting position. I don't know if we'll quite see that with those guys further back, since there are a lot more cars they got to get through. But with what we saw last night, it really is anybody's race. And if you get up front, have a chance up front near the end, you have a chance of winning the race.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if Pullen is gonna have a great one tonight, but if things get wild, he could get a top 10 still, throw them in the point standings. And it's gonna be interesting, like, see some cautions, just have to wait and see. And this race is 5 races to go, race 10 of the season. And it's been a wild season for the ARCA Series, to say without doubt. But it's been one guy that's been dominant this season, and that has been Zane Crawford. He's not really been dominant, but he's been appointed every single race. He starts up front in this one in second. Reggie Fogelman at 9 points behind. Tanner Pullen is in third. 11 points behind. Caleb Rose with a great one at Charlotte. He is now in some championship contention, I should say. 19 points behind. And the Nathan Ullman, he might have flipped at Charlotte, but he's still top 5 in point standings. 20 points behind. Evan Burke is 23 points behind. Those top 6 have a realistic shot at leaving here, potentially as the point leader. And then Josephine only a low driver. Alex is 29 points behind in 7th. Angel Gutierrez is in 8th, 35 points behind. Nicholas Samuel is in 9th, 39 points back. And right out the top 10 is Ronald Connington, 40 points behind. And gonna have to wait and see what ends up happening here for race 10 of the season, for only 5 races to go in the Amsoil ARCA Series. And it will be Sean Martin, who's had an up and down season, but mostly a down season, on the pole. And then alongside it is the point leader, Zane Crawford. And row number 2 is Caleb Rose, and the 06 is Carolina Bradley. Row number 3 is Reggie Fogelman and Jacob Miller, who, oddly enough, last time you were in the booth, he got stuck in the wall at Las Rio Dirt, so hopefully that does not happen to him again. Ronald Kingston and Evan Burke, and running out the top 10 is last in points for both the Crown Juniors, who's had a terrible season, unfortunately, and then Andrew Miller in 10th rounds out the top 10 here at Devil's Bowl. And it will be 50 laps once again, 24 drivers. Who do you think will win the winner of Senate 200?
I got to go with my guy Caleb Rose starting in third right there. He I don't know if he's had much success as a driver as of late in certain places. Actually finished the Turkey Truck Series pretty well quite recently, but you know what? He's been doing a pretty good job here in the ARCA Series. I think he's going to get the race victory in that 35.
Got a top 3 last time out at Charlotte. He's kind of stole it late. Can he steal a win late here? Green flag racing for race 10 of the season. The winner's Senate 200. We have green flag racing at Devil's Bowl Speedway for the second dirt track race of season number 1. Sean Mullen with a great start out front. Rolls to the inside of the point leader for the race, for second, I should say, not for race lead. Mullen will lead lap number 1, will get a bonus point towards the championship, even though that doesn't really matter for her. But what is going to happen is Caleb Rose still in the point standings. At least trying to take the race lead away from the O2 machine.
Yeah, and Caleb's going to have a shot right here. I don't think he's going to quite lead this lap, but he's in a good position. The thing is, though, we saw last night these guys really didn't pull away from one another until, I don't know, about 40 laps into the race. And, you know, this is a 50-lap race again tonight. So we got 3 wide. How about Fogelman going for it there?
Second, the point standings contact with Rose and Martin. And Rose is going to try and make it through right through the middle here as Kennington's up front. Rose has to watch out here to not get caught up in someone's a mess. And this is what we saw last night. A lot of close calls. I have another close call off of turn number 4. Rose contact with Martin again. Still 3 wide for second as Kennington's going to try and make some moves down on 1 and 2.
Yeah, we saw a lot of this at the beginning of last night's race as well. They're just going 3 wide in all these different places, and these guys have to be careful. Caleb Rose still in that inside lane. The inside of Reggie Fogelman right there, trying to gain some points on Fogelman in this one. He's 10 points behind him, respectively. And Zane Crawford, see where he ends up finishing here tonight. If he ends up keeping onto that points lead, to see him just inside the top 10 back in there. But Caleb Rose trying to win this race. He's yet to lead a lap. He's yet to get that bonus point. But he might finally clear this 71. Not quite there yet.
He's trying, though, here in 3 and 4. Crawford stuck on the outside lane. That's what these top 2, Rose and Fogelman, want to see, as Rose will finally get a bonus point towards the championship. He will lead that lap. Fogelman trying to go from the top to the bottom, and he really is going to get to the inside of Ronald Kennington and this number 71 machine. And definitely a little bit more antsy here at the start of this one, with it being 24 cars instead of 16. Fogelman, he saw Rose get a bonus point, and I think he might want a bonus point towards his championship next, as he might go side by side here for the race to lead.
Whereas Fogelman already led a lap earlier on, so he's got that bonus point, but also another bonus point for leading the most laps in this race as well. So we'll have to see, who ends up getting that regard. But every point matters in this championship, and with Zane Crawford a little bit further back, these guys have an opportunity of closing in on that title race. And that one machine doesn't look like he's moving his way up. He's actually falling back just a little bit there. So if he stays in that respective position, especially for Fogelman's case, I think the way they run right now, if Fogelman's leading, Fogelman would actually take the points lead going into our next race.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's exactly what's going to happen. Fogelman is 9 points behind. Stapleton 11 points behind. And then Rose is 19 points behind. Stapleton is actually moving his way up to the field really, really low. He's already inside the top 10 after starting dead last. Amazing job on Pun. And this is a worst case scenario for St. Crawford, because now Fogelman, Paulson, and Rose are all ahead of him, second, third, and fourth in points, as South might make it 3 wide for the race lead here.
Caleb Rose, ooh, how about that 69 though? Rose kind of slipped up a little bit there, and Josh South are going to take this race lead away. And he's going to get into Caleb. We got to be careful here off the exit. Caleb will have Fogelman cleared though.
Yeah, turn 4 and turn 2 seem to be the trouble spots. At seeing these corners, they end up sliding up a little bit, and could see a little bit of chaos entering this one in turns 2 and turn 4. I'm impressed by this fourth wave of Tampon. He won back-to-back at Talladega and then somewhere else. I don't remember where, but he won back-to-back races, and from the back to the front, inside the top 5 now for Tampon, as well as going to get back to the inside for this race lead.
Caleb Rose has been up front pretty much this entire race. Just hasn't been able to hold on to the race lead for a long time. But then again, no one's been able to do so. So I think for Caleb and for all these guys, you mainly just want to be up front near the end of the race and don't do anything now that's going to risk your chance of being up front near the end of the race. But Caleb's been consistent up front, so has the 71 of Kennington there. And then Fogelman's still in the top 5 as well. You got the 43 and the '06 back in there. That is Tanner Parton, who's did he start deep in the field in this race?
Yeah.
I'm thinking started 23rd.
I think he started last, 24th.
Yeah.
Shotgun on the
So
field.
he's done an excellent job. Watch out for Tanner Parton in this one. All 3 of the guys directly behind Zane Crawford in the championship are ahead of Zane Crawford right now. So this championship's going to close in quite a bit going into our next race.
Yeah, I believe... I might have to check this, but I believe it is ILP, Chicagoland, Toledo, and New Simona are the last 4 races of the season. So 3 short tracks and 1.5 miles, and it's probably the craziest 1.5 of them all at Chicagoland. So this is not over yet. Qualva's been dominant this season, but this is not over with 4 races to go after tonight. Fogelman trying to take the race lead away from Kennington, and here comes Carolina Bradley in this number 06 out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, who was it in last night's race that kind of came out of nowhere there? I think it was... No. Now, we literally just recorded it. I can't remember. But we've seen some of these guys kind of late in the going just kind of come up. And it was Patrick Smith who finished second last night. Kind of just came out of nowhere near the end of the race and was one of the stronger drivers near the end there. And that might be the same thing for Carolina Bradley here. We've got to be careful right there between Fogelman and Kennington.
That was a little bit close, and yeah, you have a great point. You don't have to be up front in the first half, you just have to be up front late and in the second half. And how about Matt Davis? He's not had a good season, 23rd in the point standings, but he's up front around the halfway point. Tanner Pun back on to this inside lane. Tanner Pun, he's trying to go from last place to winning here in a 24 car field instead of a 16 car field. This would be impressive. And if Pun gets his job done, they would be win number 3, and he would tie with the most wins with Nico Sam with Dio. And speaking of 3, he's going to go 3 wide for 3rd.
And he is definitely moving his way through the field very well on this one. And it's always a good thing if you're tying Nicolas Samadillo. Maybe not tying his second place finishes in the Wawa Cup Series, but most everything else he does is up there and definitely noteworthy. So if you can tie Nicolas Samadillo, that's a good deal there for Tanner Parton, and he has had a lot more of a consistent run than Samadillo this season as well. And this race right here, definitely proving that. And the way things are going, if he can get around Fogelman and win this race, possibly he could actually be the points leader going into our next race.
Yeah, Parton is only 11 points behind Crawford for his point lead. Right now, it would be Fogelman, but if he can get past Fogelman, get a bonus point, it could be Parton going into ILP next time out. And Parton is impressing the heck out of me this season. He won back-to-back at some point this season, and especially this race, went back to the front with even more cars than last night. An impressive job. 2 wins, 4 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. He only 11 points behind and sits in the 3rd spot. And oh yeah, how about made that 5 drives? 4 out of the top 5, I should say, are all ahead of Zane Crawford. Where's Ormond? Uh-oh. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th are all ahead of Zane Crawford right now. Oh boy.
Yeah, no, not a good run for Zane in this race. That one machine a little bit off the pace compared to how it has been. Another thing too, Zane's not won a race yet this year, so that can definitely bite you a little bit if you're not careful. How about Tanner Parton though? That's something he has not struggled with, is winning races this year and looking to get another one. He might actually go for the race lead right here.
From 3rd to 2nd and possibly 2nd to 1st here, and that's the thing about Crawford. He's had chances to win, but he's not been able to get that number 1 position yet this season. But Parton has 2 of them, Fogelman has 1 of them, Ormond has 1 of them, and they are all ahead of him here in this one. Somehow we've gone caution lead. Fantastic racing though. And these guys are putting on a show here at Devil's Bowl, just like what we did last night. Bradley's going to go from top to bottom. Not going to be quite clear. Fogelman almost caught to the inside of the '06. The '06 might think about getting to the inside of Tampon here this time by. And this track is something else. Fantastic racing once again, second night in a row, and for what feels like the 7th or 8th race in a row, we are having another banger here in the main ARCA series.
We are. No surprise after what we saw last night. This is definitely a solid racetrack in that regard. And I think we might have our 3 drivers who might be going for this win now, because they've pulled away from the rest of the field right here. You got Tanner Pardon still leading. You got that '06 Carolina Bradley running in second. And you got Reggie Fogelman there in the 3rd position. So we'll have to see who ends up getting it done here. But I think it's going to be one of these 3.
Yeah, I think that's what happened last night in the West Series, is that it came down to 3 or 4 drives late, and then it came down to 2 drives in the last 5 laps. And it honestly could come down to Bradley and Pardon for this race victory. I have to wait and see what happens here with 13 laps to go. Evan Burke in 4th. How about this number 2 machine of Aaron Abel? I believe, yes, it is Aaron Abel. He's in 5th. Rose still up front in 6th for this 35 machine. Still a good points one for him. And I'm shocked about Zane Crawford because he is the development driver to Travis Crampton, who I know personally is a dirt guy. So I don't know what they did with the setup on the number 1 machine, but unfortunately this came at a bad time with everyone 2nd through 6th points ahead of him. And I think even Josephine O'Neill's ahead of him. Yeah, he is 22nd in the point standings, so that might be...
This rate, he might finish last.
This is going to shake up the points entirely going into the final 4 races of the season, and that's not what Crawford wanted to see after being dominant and being the point lead all season long. Boy, oh boy.
Well, how about Tanner Pardon, though? Kind of doing the opposite of Zane Crawford in this race. Started dead last year tonight, and now he's out front. And honestly, I feel like he's going to be the favorite to win at this point. And Carolina Bradley's had a good run, but not quite good enough, I think, for this 43. We'll have to see, though. The '06 is trying to close back in. It's going to be between one of these 2 drivers.
Yeah, I think we're on to something between these top 2, the 43 and the '06. Pardon, he's dead last, and he's trying to do the last to first challenge. Meanwhile, Tampon still is 2nd, and he's fallen back to 22nd. So, polar opposites between 1st in points and 3rd in points. And that's not going to be good going into some of the more crazy short tracks on the season. And I made sure when I did the schedule, we had some good tracks to end the year. To end the season now. Devil's Bowl, one of the better dirt tracks, and then ILP, really good. Chicagoland, the craziest one I have. And then Toledo and New Smyrna. It's going to be a wild season, and this season's already been wild. But I have to wait and see if what happens. Abel might have something for his 4th spot on Evan Book, though.
Yeah, ending the season at New Smyrna, that's an interesting choice right there. That place is crazy. Crazy and a half. And hey, you know what? World Cup Series just around the corner. Meliala Smoothfest just around the corner. I'm thinking a lot about that track right now. I'm excited for that. Excited for the finale of this series, because by the time we get to that point, we still have a close championship battle, and we can have a race similar to this one, where they're just moving positions all over the place. So that's what you got to look forward to for the New Smyrna Speedway. But either way, we still got a race here. Carolina Bradley trying to close in on Tanner Pardon. She still has a shot at this one, but 3 to go. Time is running out.
Carolina Bradley needs to start building up that momentum now. It's only a 3 laps to go. Only a half-mile dirt track. This race will end in a minute with it being just a 16-second lap. So it's going to be over in about 30 seconds. Bradley 21 a little bit lower than Tampon. Going to close in a little bit, but Pardon just doing a really good job maintaining that about calling lead. But here we go. White flag is out. And the winner center 200, and Bradley trying to make the late race charge.
Bradley's going to have a shot here. She's moving to the inside, and Tanner Pardon's led a lot of these laps as of late. But if that '06 can get to the inside, we could have ourselves a close one here.
Ooh, she's going to get there side by side off of turn number 4.
Not enough.
It's going to be Pardon. Game number 3 on the year.
One more lap, and she would have gotten it.
How about that? Last night in the West Series, we had a close one with it was only separated by 2/10 of a second, and this one is separated by only 1/10 of a second. Wow. What a track. Caution free in both of them, but fantastic racing. And you know, it's probably a good thing that we had a caution free race after seeing the big one at Charlotte, and I bet a lot of these teams would want a clean one at a dirt track, and that's exactly what we saw here. Pun with number 3, Bradley, Burke, Volkman, Abel, the top 5, Sustry in 6th, Gutierrez in 7th, Davis, Rose in 9th. He fell back a little bit, but still gonna be ahead of St. Crawford. And Jacob Miller, who unfortunately got stuck on the fence last time you won the booth for the track last week, he gets the top 10. I'm just looking through here, and oh no, I'm shaking my head for St. Crawford. He started second, and he's gonna finish dead last. That's the point, leader.
Yeah, it's kind of swapped positions there with Tanner Parton. Tanner started last and won the race, and St. Crawford essentially did the opposite there. So I think Tanner Parton's going to be your new points leader after this one, and he's got those wins to back up any tiebreakers as well, which is going to be definitely a big deal for him. So yeah, definitely interesting race, and and it's not necessarily about where you start; it's about how you run in the race, and that this race was definitely a prime example of that right there.
Yeah, without doubt. And this track, it caused some interesting moments, and I think I just made this championship and the final 4 races really, really tight. And yes, it is. Things have been flipped upside down, folks. Tampon is the midpoint leader, only by 2 points over Reggie Folkman. And St. Crawford, he had a 9-point lead at the start, but because he finished dead last, he's now 14 points behind. Evan Butt, 4th, 16 points behind. Rose, 5th, 17 points behind. 5 drivers have a shot at the moment in 4 races to go in the season. And things have been completely flipped upside down. And now, all of a sudden, Crawford, he's been the point leader all season, but now he's the one chasing point leader up Tampon.
It's going to be interesting as this season plays out, if St. Crawford can get his mojo back there, because that was not a good race for him whatsoever. But Tanner Parton is kind of my pick to win this title based off of the fact that he's been as consistent as he is, and the race that we saw today, going from last to first, definitely an impressive run for him there, and if he can keep that up, it's going to be hard to beat him as we get to the finale in New Smyrna.
Yeah, without doubt. And I just looked this up. The races that he's won 3 out of the last 4. He won at Pocono, Talladega, San Diego won at Charlotte, and then of course he won here at Devilsburg. So, Paul, he's getting on a hot streak in the second half of the season. Pocono, Dega, and Devilsburg, 3 out of the last 4. At this point, Paul, he's been a point leader all season until tonight. Paul might be the new driver to chase after this championship for more races left in the season. ILP, Chicagoland, Toledo, and New Smyrna. How on earth do you think this championship is going to play out with 4 wild race tracks in this season?
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And you mentioned Chicago and being one of the crazier mile and a half that we've got on the schedule. But then again, then you said the finale was in New Smyrna. I'm like, oh boy, if we got a championship battle going into that race, it's going to be pretty wild there around that mile and a half in Central Florida. But either way, still got a long ways left to go. Still 4 races left, and it's anyone's game inside this top 5.
Yeah, without a doubt. This championship has been fun. This series has been fun. I know it's only 24 colors, but these races have been amazing. And if these guys keep this up, then there might be a good chance I somehow return this series next year for the fall, because this has been absolutely amazing. Huge thanks for Alex for joining me in both the Devil Bowl races here the last 2 days. Congratulations to Tampon for being win number 3 and win number 3 of the last 4. Pun is a new championship favorite going to the final 4 races of the season. Until I repeat my home short track, I will see you guys next week at Lucas Oil Raceway. Bye!